What is up, though, Lions fans? It's your boy, Motor City Don P, back once again, and you already know what it is when you see me in front of your TV, in front of your mobile phone, your laptop, your personal computer, whatever it is, whatever device you are watching me on, I appreciate you. But the first thing is that the Motor City Cats are indeed back at it. We came to give you stats, none of that static. And number three, and perhaps the most important of them all, we want to make sure you keep your Lions news pragmatic. And if you want to know how you keep your Lions news pragmatic, if you're asking yourself, or if you want to ask me, how, Don? How, Don, do we keep our Lions news pragmatic? Well, I'm glad you asked. Thank you. It's very, very simple. You simply smash the like button, share, and subscribe in whatever order that you like. But once you have done those things, and even if you're already subscribed, I appreciate you coming back every time, every day, every time that you come back. But smashing like buttons and sharing is also appreciated. And once you've done that, you've kept your Lions news pragmatic. Because you know there are people out there that don't want to keep the news pragmatic. They want to lie to you. They want to clickbait. They want to do all they can to get your time and waste it. And that's not what we do around here. So let's talk about what we came here to talk about tomorrow. Sunday is I know tomorrow's not Sunday. I was doing a bit. What up, though, TaylorMade Media? You pop this shout out. Because you already know. I got 3 cars and we got one in the shop. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, man. You know what I mean? I don't like doing that. All right. Let me pop this out. All right. And you guys are up now in my face. I can see you. Mark Garcia says, inside the den in half an hour. Definitely going to have to check that out. But today is the day before the game. The game is the Hall of Fame game. While it may not be exciting to some, like myself, I'm just going to say that. While it may not be super duper exciting, while you may not be seeing certain rookies like Tate Ratledge or Tyleik Williams, while of course you will not see any of the starters, okay, and this is why Tate Ratledge and Tyleik Williams are expected not to play. Which, if we're being honest, Tyleik might need the reps. I'm just saying. We'll touch on that. So it might not be super duper exciting, but there will be people, some of the names that you know, some of the names that you do not know, who will be suiting up for the Detroit Lions. They will be wearing Detroit Lions uniforms. Okay. It will say Detroit on them. Maybe it'll say 313. I don't know which uniforms they're wearing. I don't know if they're in whites or blues. I'm not sure. I would rather that they were in whites because I don't want them going to, oh, hell no, and say, oh, this is a home game for us. No, you should never feel at home in that place. Ever. Okay. Now you can go into their trap and take over their trap when you play a team from there, the Bengals or the Browns or whatever. Go into the trap, take over the trap. Fine. No problem. Okay. Make yourself at home. Fine, no problem. Just don't feel like you're at home. Here's the difference. I feel like this is my second home. No. What kind of a second home is oh hell no? Terrible. Anyway, so while you may not see the main attractions, you will see people running around wearing Detroit Lions helmets, Detroit Lions jerseys, and Detroit Lions pants. And that's what you're going to get. Okay. But we got 5 keys to look for as the Detroit Lions rest up for the Hall of Fame game. Why are they resting up? They don't have practice today. Obviously, they don't have practice because they got a game tomorrow. Right? So generally, that's what they do. Even during the regular season, you may walk through. You have a walkthrough the day before the game. But they've had a faster, earlier start to camp So they don't have many days off, right? So they're giving their guys a day off, not even doing walkthroughs, just chill out. They got to travel, they're traveling to oh hell no, all this other stuff. They had the scrimmage yesterday. We talked about it. So let's get into these keys. Mark Garcia says, I'm looking forward to seeing BM. We'll touch on that. A hooker needs lots of reps. Okay, so that is going to be the number one key. Okay, the number one key. Here's Johnny. What up, though? Is the play of Hendon Hooker. These keys are more like what we're looking forward to. It's not like keys to victory because who cares? It's the Hall of Fame game. What keys to victory do you need? So these are more like what to look out for during the Hall of Fame game. All right. So that's, just to be clear. I mean, the title had to be what the title had to be for it to be optimized. Anyway, number one thing I'm looking for is Hendon Hooker. This is pretty much echoing what Dan Campbell said about these quarterbacks. Dan Campbell said, go out there and do what you were asked to do. Go out there and execute the offense the way that you were asked to execute it. Don't try to make plays, right? Don't try to be bigger than the game. Don't be like, oh, this is my time to shine. Let me hurdle a dude and jump on top of his helmet and kick him in the face, and then, whatever. I don't know. But that is the point. Is the command of the offense there? Hendon Hooker, for all of his physical gifts and all of his poise and all of that he had in college, and we all know he was going to be the Heisman Trophy winner, or at least he was going to get some first place votes. He looked like he might have been the favorite. No one knows what would have happened for the rest of the season, but we didn't get to see what would happen in the rest of the season because he got injured. And had he not gotten injured, he might have won the Heisman, and he might have been one of the first quarterbacks selected in the draft. But the story goes he got injured. He injured his knee. I think it was a torn ACL. He was out for the rest of the season. He didn't do anything in the pre-draft process because he was still rehabbing from that torn ACL. He falls to the Lions in the third round. He's had a rocky couple of years here. Obviously, the first year he was injured, so he didn't really do anything until the very, very end of the year. They activated him with that final, 15-day or 21-day window. So he was cleared to practice. That's pretty much all he did. Okay. Then last year he comes in and he's got to beat out Nate Sudfeld, and he beats out Nate Sudfeld. I could have beat out Nate Sudfeld in my current shape. Okay. Probably not. Okay. But Nate Sudfeld is bad. Okay. But I don't take any umbrage in saying that because he's a quarterback and I'm not. I used to be when I was 9, but it's not realistic. Okay. So he had to beat out Nate Sudfeld. He beat out Nate Sudfeld. He's the backup quarterback for the entire year until the playoffs. He's the backup quarterback for the entire year until the playoffs. He was the human victory cigar. He came in the Titans game. I think he came in another game where we were blowing folks out. And, he handed the ball off a few times. Okay. And this is after, like, in the preseason, he trucked somebody and concussed himself, all these things. But that was his season last year. So the playoffs came, and then we got Teddy Bridgewater. And then we got Teddy Bridgewater to come off the high school sidelines after winning a state championship and said, hey, we don't trust Hendon Hooker to hand the ball off to Amon-Ra St. Brown, who will then turn around and hand the ball off to Jameson Williams, who will then take it to the house. We don't trust Hendon to do that because it's the playoffs and it's too big for him. Okay. Fast forward to this year, the preseason, early in the offseason or in the middle of the offseason, kind of before mandatory minicamp and all that stuff, they signed Kyle Allen. Okay, Kyle Allen used to be the backup quarterback in Baltimore. I don't know if he was anywhere else. I feel like he was in Pittsburgh for some reason, but he was in Baltimore for sure. Now the hubbub and the hullabaloo and the hoopla is, can Hendon Hooker beat out Kyle Allen? I told you guys before, Hendon Hooker doesn't have any trade value. Okay, so anyone looking at what I'm saying about trade value or thinking of trade value, you should stop doing that. Hendon Hooker doesn't have trade value. I'll tell you why. If he beats out Kyle Allen, he is your backup quarterback. You don't have another one. Okay? If he beats out Kyle Allen, he is your backup quarterback. You don't have another one. He has won the job. He is not there to be traded. If he cannot beat out Kyle Allen, who is trading for him? If he's your, I can't say young because he's damn near 30, okay? But he's your quarterback prospect. And he's supposed to be not even, at this point, I don't even think that, and y'all can tell me in the chat, does anybody think that Hendon Hooker is the heir apparent at this point? Do you think at this point that he is being groomed to take over for Jared Goff? I do not. When he was drafted, a lot of people thought that. I thought that as well. Okay, so at this point, he's not your heir apparent. He is your backup quarterback. We truly have a battle for backup quarterback. Who is going to hold the clipboard behind JG? Who is going to be in the room with him, breaking down film, talking about what they see? Okay, it's in this case, with Hendon Hooker being, kind of newish to the offense and everything, it may not be him solely. It's probably going to be him, JG, and Mark Brunell and the other quarterbacks all in the same room. But if anyone needs to get some extra work done, it would be more like JG helping Hendon than Hendon helping JG. One thing about Nate Sudfeld is that he was that, coach on the field. He was that coach in the film room helping JG prepare for games, giving him insight about what he saw, this, that, and the third thing. Not a good quarterback at all. Absolute garbage as a quarterback. However, he was there to help, to prepare. Okay? So Hendon Hooker not being able to beat out Kyle Allen, I don't know what the market would be for Hendon Hooker, a 7th rounder, right? Some team would take a 7th round flyer on Hendon Hooker, but does Brad Holmes want to let Hendon Hooker go like that? Remember, he had, his 3rd season? One of those seasons was an entirely wasted season. He didn't start practicing until before the NFC Championship game, pretty much. All right. So I want to see Hendon Hooker go out there and command the offense. I want to see him be on time. I want to see him be accurate. Okay. I want to see him be able to process. Okay. What I mean by on time, I want him to be able to get rid of the ball. A lot of what we saw from Hendon Hooker was you go to the one read, it's not there, and he pulls it down and runs. I want to see Hendon Hooker go through progressions. Okay? The offense that we have is not tailored to one read. If it's not there, pull it down and run with it. We have an offense where you need to go through your progressions and find the open guy. If you don't find one after you go from read 1, 2, 3, 4, then you run. No problem. But I don't want to see him locked on like a deer in the headlights. Oh, that's read 1. It's not open. Panic, pull the ball down, and run. That's what I don't want to see from Hendon Hooker. I don't want to see any wild throws, wild overthrows, all these things. I want to see if Hendon Hooker can command the huddle, if he can command the offense, and if he can look like a competent NFL quarterback. That's what I want to see. That's my number one key. Can Hendon Hooker go out there and look like a competent NFL quarterback, even though it is the Hall of Fame game. Let me get to your comments in the chat. All right. Darko Human Victory Cigar. Darko is terrible, bro. Oh my God. I don't even want to think about that. It makes me sick to my stomach. Carmelo Anthony on the Detroit Pistons. Carmelo Anthony with Chauncey Billups, Rip Hamilton, Rasheed Wallace, Ben Wallace. Damn you, Joe Dumars. Damn you. Anyway, let's see. Going to be nice to see the camp battles in this game. Manu needs to prove he can be a viable second team tackle. What up, though, Tactical Sport? He says yesterday wasn't a good day. One of my dogs died last night. Had to bury him in the backyard this morning. Came to get my mind off of things. Well, sorry to hear that, Tactical. I know losing a pet is heartbreaking. So hopefully you and your fam are good. And hopefully you will get through it. So shout out to you. We appreciate you, Tactical. You are a valuable member of the chat, and one of my day ones. So shout out to you, man. The Bears fan is back. He says that Hooker will be a great QB. Mark Garcia says Hooker will be a permanent clipboard holder. I don't have a problem with him being a permanent clipboard holder. But he's got to earn the right to hold the clipboard. That's what we want to see. Can he earn that right? So who will pay the Hooker? That's a good one. Okay. Number two. My number two key here. I don't know if Tim Patrick will be playing. I would assume that Tim Patrick's not going to play, but it wouldn't be strange to see him out there. One of the things that he was talking about in his press conference or his media availability yesterday was basically he knows where his position is. Because he was talking about all the other talent, and he's like, "Oh, I gotta just beat the fourth corner on the depth chart." He was like, "I should win that all the time." So if he's saying he has to only beat the fourth corner on the depth chart to be able to make catches, he knows he's the fourth wide receiver. If he's legitimately the fourth wide receiver, then seeing him and Tesla out there together is probably something that we can expect. I go so far as to say that it is less likely to see Khalif Raymond than it is likely to see Tim Patrick. So Tim Patrick, Isaac Tesla, Dominic Lovett. Gotta love it. Maybe even Jackson Meeks. I want to see these young receivers and Tim Patrick go out there and do their thing. I want to see Isaac Tesla, on the big stage under the bright lights, shine like he did at Arkansas. I want to see Isaac Tesla not have any drops like at Arkansas. I want to see all of these things from these wide receivers. I want to see why you went up 8 million picks and gave up three third-round picks or whatever. Was it 2 third-round picks? Okay, because we don't have any this coming year, this coming draft, and the next one. So we ain't got no more third-round picks. I want to see what all of the hype was about on the NFL level. Because I know what he did in college, but I want to see it on the NFL level. Is he playing against NFL level corners? Sure, maybe. I'm sure someone who's covering him tomorrow night will make a team. I don't know if they're going to make the Chargers. I don't know if it's just going to be a practice squad. I don't know if they're going to be a regular member in the rotation. I don't know if they're just going to be a special teamer, but they'll be in the NFL somewhere, at some point, somehow. Just like Isaac TeSlaa will be, right? So against similar coverage, similar competition, what are you expected to be, Isaac TeSlaa, and what is this corner across from you expected to be? Maybe he's a young rookie as well, drafted in the 3rd round. Okay, so I want to see Isaac TeSlaa against someone who can challenge him in the NFL at the NFL level. And I want to see what he has. Okay, it might sound like I'm being harsh or dismissing. I'm not. I legitimately want to see him do well at the NFL level. Because y'all know my stance on rookies. Rookies are rookies. It's their first year here. It's first year in the NFL. You're going to have ups and downs. You're going to have growing pains. I'm not expecting you to burst onto the scene as the savior of the franchise. Okay? That was the old Lions. We used to expect that from rookies. Burst on the scene and please save us. I don't care who you are. I don't care what you did, where, when you did it, how. Please save us. Right? Ernie Sims, please save us. Kerryon Johnson, please save us. Louis Delmas, please save us. The list goes on and on. Please save us. We're not doing that anymore. Okay? So I do want to see what Isaac TeSlaa does. I do want to see what Dominic Lovett does. Obviously, Lovett, gotta love it, was a 7th round draft pick, so he doesn't really have any pressure at all. So hopefully he goes out there, balls out, plays free, and does what he needs to do to put some good tape out there. Isaac TeSlaa has a bunch of pressure because of what we gave up. Okay? And I'm going to be the one to say it. I know some of y'all are thinking it, that he's got to justify he doesn't have to justify his draft, like where he was selected. He has to justify the trade. You understand what I'm saying? The trade must be justified. Okay? It's got to be. All right, what y'all got? TaylorMade Media says, I want to see Hooker roll left and right. Then I want to see him throw it 50 yards in the air from the line of scrimmage twice. You know, all the things Jared Goff can't do. I knew it was coming. Mark Garcia says, I don't think TP will play. His spot should be safe. Well, as much as we want to push TP out the door and say TeSlaa is replacing him this year, that's what I'm saying. I wouldn't be surprised to see him out there, but I also wouldn't be surprised not to see him out there. Either way, I wouldn't be surprised. Detroit Fan Man says, we're playing against Jim Harbaugh and allegedly his first round drafted running back, Omarion Hampton. And we've been hearing all camp how good the run D looks so far. Can't wait to see us frustrate Jim tomorrow. Okay, so our run defense has looked good with our starters. They're not playing. So you're going to have like El Quadim Muhammad. You're going to have Ahmed Hassanin, Roy Lopez, and maybe Patrick Martin. I don't know. Like that's who's going to be out there on the line. So you're not going to have anybody who makes the run game look good. It's not going to have it. The Bears fan. If you're hyped for the preseason, that's on you, buddy. I can't help you with that. If you are hyped for the preseason, and I understand you are, because we used to have records like 4-13 and 5-12 and 3-13-1. And then when we had records like that, we were hyped for the preseason. We would have been hyped for the Hall of Fame game. But you know what happened? We were hyped for the preseason once because we won 4 games, all 4 of them, and we were hyped. People were talking about the Super Bowl. People talking about how good this team was. They went 0-16. So as I said, you will never be able to hype me for the preseason. Because my expectations for the preseason lie with 4-0 and 0-16. I don't care about the preseason. I don't care if we win. I don't care if we lose. Because at the end of the day, the end of the month, they wipe away those things, those records, wins and losses from the preseason. And then you go to the regular season, it says 0-0-0. 0 wins, 0 losses, and 0 ties. Right? Okay. Detroit Fan Man says, are we hip to the new Benedict Johnson nickname, Skinny Patricia? That's just too much. It's too much. I don't want to remember Fatty Matty Patty. I don't want to bring him up every time I call Osama bin Johnson's name. It's too much. It's too much in that name, Skinny Patricia. You think you got a guy who snaked us and left in the division, and then you got a guy that I'm convinced was a saboteur sent over by Bill Belichick just to take a team off the radar, even if it's the Lions, right? Because who knows what the Lions could have been had we hired a real coach and GM. So Bill Belichick said, I'm going to make sure they don't do that because I know they're out here looking, and I'm going to make sure they don't get this right. So he sent Fatty Matty Patty and Bob Quinn over here to sabotage us from within. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Okay? That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. All right. He did hire him. Yes, I know he hired him. And they did select Tom Kennedy, or Tom Kennedy. Tom Kennedy began, I don't think he was drafted. He was probably undrafted. Tom Kennedy began his tenure here in that era, in the Fatty Matty Patty era, right? In the Quinn Tricia era. I'm sorry. I said era, but I meant error. Okay? During the Quinn Tricia era, that's when Ben Johnson got here, or Benedict Johnson, or Osama bin Johnson, and that's when Tom Kennedy got here. We love Tom Kennedy. We don't care nothing about the other 3, right? Okay. Make sure y'all smash that like button, by the way. We got the viewers and the likes don't match. Come on now, get the likes up. Get the likes up. Let's see. Okay, I'm not even gonna read that nonsense. He said when Bears start calling him Skinny P, it's all over. So I don't think the Bears would ever call him that because you could look at a coach from the outside and be like, oh, he's a bad coach. But if you don't know the ins and outs of what happened, I don't think that's something that they do. Now, if they've already started it, then I'm wrong, and that's weird, right? It's like calling somebody like Fat Eberflus. That makes so much sense, though, because his name is Matt. But it's like, if we got a coach and it was like, oh, he's Fat Eberflus, we don't exactly know how bad. I know how bad because I was tapped into their podcasts and things like this. We don't actually know how bad Matt Eberflus was for the Chicago Bears. Just like they don't necessarily know how bad Fatty Matty Patty was for the Detroit Lions. So if that does happen, if it already is happening, that just speaks volumes and that's terrible. That's terrible. Terrible. They're trying to steal everything else from us. Why not our nicknames? That's true. That's true. When you thirsty, you got to drink the blue Kool-Aid. That blue Kool-Aid. Facts. Where does she be at? You always see. Look, I'm in top chat. For some reason she don't come into the top chat. I gotta put it on live chat. See now I see her. All right. Oh, that's why. That's why. I see what's happening there. Some other people didn't pop up either, so I apologize. I will try to keep it on live chat and not top chat. I don't know why it does that. Why it deems some of your chats not top and some of your chats top. I don't know. So Kay says nothing but a bunch of soft ass ninjas in the city of Ecorse, River Rouge, and Southwest Detroit. She is on one. Then she attacked Ron. Frank the Tank, what up though? He says F the Green Bay, F the Minnesota, and F the Bears. Go Lions. All right. Number three was for me, and I put it at number 3 because it really was going to be number 1, but they're not playing. So Tyleik Williams is not playing. Tate Ratledge is not playing. So I can't really glean anything from what I'm going to see. I'll probably see Christian Mahogany out there. I don't even know if I'm going to see Christian Mahogany. I have no idea if I'm. So do y'all remember last preseason when Hendon Hooker played against the Pittsburgh Steelers and they sacked him like all one series? They like sacked him 3 times. Do y'all remember that? Unfortunately, that's the type of line I think that Hendon Hooker is going to be behind tomorrow night. The difference is the Pittsburgh Steelers, for some reason, played their starters that game. So Alex Highsmith was back there and so on and so forth. I don't think TJ Watt played, okay? But for whatever reason, the Pittsburgh Steelers decided to play their starters, especially on the defensive line, and they went after Hendon Hooker and they ate. So what I do want to see, which I don't know what I'm going to see. So it's, again, curb your enthusiasm. What are you actually looking at? You're looking at a bunch of people that won't be there. So what I will say is I want to see Manu look like a competent NFL tackle. I want to see this growth and this development that they've said that he's gone through. And I also want to see the raw power and athleticism that he has. I want to see him ragdoll someone like he used to do in college. I just want to see him throw someone. Okay? Because I don't know what else. Who is playing center? Kingsley Aguakun. Okay, Colby Sorsdal is probably going to be out there at the guard. Coyote Awasika will be out there. Dan Skipper. Who's going to be out there for Panay? Oh, no, Dan Skipper will probably be out there for Panay. And then Manu will be out there at left tackle. So, it's a lot of grains of salt. It's a lot of grains of salt. There's like whatever you're seeing tomorrow night, grain of salt. I want to see Manu perform. I want to see him go out there and do his thing. I want to see him look comfortable. Okay? That's what I want to see. I want to see him look comfortable. So that's number 3 for me. The offensive line, again, don't know what I'm going to be looking at, really, quite honestly. And I'll know, I guess, tomorrow. I'll do some checking throughout the day to see how many starters are playing for the Chargers. But I don't know. So number 3, offensive line. Don't know why, but it's just there. It's something that we got to pay attention to. Well, thank you, Kay. I appreciate your appreciation of the comedy. Tomorrow night is a 60-minute scrimmage. That's it. And the scrimmage from yesterday was good. It was more exciting than what this will be with actually 2 teams. As I said, I don't know if I'm going to even stream the whole event. I probably can with my time and everything. So, but I don't know. Who knows, man? Because I don't. I'm going to tell you right now, I don't know. All right. So that brings us to number 4. Number 4. We're going to keep it in the trenches. We're going to say D-line. Now, there's a person, as I've said already, who's not going to be available. I don't really like this, but Tyleik Williams is not playing. I don't know if we're making too much out of this. I don't know if he was just a guy big up in his teammate. But when they asked him, and we talked about this yesterday, but when they asked him, what was your welcome to the NFL moment, which is wild because you haven't actually played in the NFL yet. You're in training camp and you haven't even played in a preseason game, but you're asking about your welcome to the NFL moment. Okay. Whenever they ask a player, okay, and they usually don't ask him as a rookie, they'll usually ask him like we'll start from his second year. What was your welcome to the NFL moment? Oh man, I was playing against TJ Watt and he cleaned my clock. Oh man, I was playing against Max Crosby and he beat me for a sack. Oh man, I was playing against Sauce Gardner and he baited me and I threw, I thought my receiver was wide open and I threw a pick, Oh man, I was coming off the corner and all I saw was green and freaking Fred Warner came and, cleaned my clock. It's just stuff like this. You played against other NFL players and other NFL teams. This is when you ask someone, what was your welcome to the NFL moment? And even after your career, people can ask you this question. Okay? You may not have gotten a welcome to the NFL moment. What was Barry Sanders' welcome to the NFL moment? Whoever cleaned his clock. He never got hit. So what was his welcome to the NFL moment? Maybe contract negotiations with the Lions? Maybe that was his welcome to the NFL moment? I don't know. But they asked this to Tyleik yesterday, and he said it was today during the scrimmage when Tate Ratledge dominated him. Is he going to bounce back and be better? Is that, I don't know. I just think it's a weird time to ask that question. But the answer that he gave makes me believe, and I'm not, I think Tate Ratledge is going to be great. But Tate Ratledge is a fellow rookie, right? So that's like I said, they probably played against each other a few times in college because of where they went to school. I feel like he needs all the reps he can get. I feel like See, I don't want to sound negative. I'm just trying to be realistic. Tate Ratledge and Tyleik Williams are peers. Right? When you come into the NFL as a rookie, you have peers. You have people that are also rookies. If you are getting ragdolled or dominated by a fellow rookie, that's cool. He may just be better than you. But how does that make me feel as far as your potential to not have the same thing happen to you when you go up against experienced NFL veterans? Now, I'm not trying to doom and gloom. I'm not trying to tell you that Tyleik is going to be a bust, that he is going to suck. I'm not saying any of those things. I'm just saying if it's going down like that in camp, I'm not happy with the decision to sit him. I think an extra, even if he just plays the first quarter or half, whatever, this is invaluable experience that he can be getting with 4 preseason games instead of the 3 that everyone else is going to get. Okay? You might say Tate Ratledge doesn't need it, but he also does because he's playing right guard. They want him to be playing center. But, you know, Dan Campbell said this is the second day in a row. Not today, because they didn't have practice today. This was yesterday. This is the second day in a row that we had Graham Glasgow at center, and it looked pretty dang good. And the more that it looks pretty dang good, it's clear as to what we're going to do. Okay, so that's what I said in the beginning. I didn't think that Tate Ratledge was going to come in day one and be the starter at center. Some people thought that. I never thought that. Okay? I would like to see him get reps as well. But Tyleik, I don't know. And from what I hear out of camp, he's a run stuffer. That was his thing. What I'm hearing out of camp is that it ain't necessarily looking thingy right now. Right? It ain't looking so thingish at the NFL level. It's looking like he's doing better in the pass rush, which is what we wanted. But I mean, if you're a defensive tackle who's known to be a run stuffer, it's great for you to rush the passer, but also your primary job is to stuff the run. And if you've got a weak link up front in the middle of your defensive line, guess who they're going to run at? So I don't know. I feel like Tyleik needs reps. This number 4 thing for me is mostly about Tyleik. I already told you, like, the rest of the defensive line, whatever the depth is, AQM is the only one. What did he have? 3, 4, 5 sacks last year? Like, he's the only one that you know anything about. Ahmed Hassanin, yes, I'd like to see what he does. You know, he's a sponge. He's picking it up. He's intense. He's, high motor, nonstop, this, that, and the third thing. What does that translate to against other teams? Third stringers and fourth stringers. I'd like to see him be dominant against that type of competition. I think that level of competition is close to what he was facing at Boise State. Right? Your top tier guy at Boise State may be a third or fourth stringer in the NFL. right? Am I wrong in saying that? Your top tier guy at Boise State may be a third, fourth stringer in the NFL, except if you're Ashton Jeanty and you're going to be a starter. Okay? Hell, I mean, if you're really good at Boise State, like not Ashton Jeanty level good, but if you're really good, then you'll probably be a second stringer. So I want to see him dominate against those people because those are the people he was literally playing against last season in college. Okay. All right. Let me see what you guys are saying here. TaylorMade Media says, if I'm a number one pick anywhere in America, you can rest assured you never hear me say, yeah, that time I got worked by a 6th rounder out of Boise State who's already in the Hall of Fame. High speed, low drag. All right. So that's number 4. Number 5. And this is one that I think we're going to see the secondary. I think we're going to see Avonte Maddox, Rock Ya-Sin. Who else would we see out there? I don't know if are we going to see Ennis Rakestraw. I don't know what his status is. Is he ready to go? If I see Ennis Rakestraw out there, I want him to get through the game healthy, but I also want to see him belong. I want to see him look like he belongs. Okay? Because Ennis Rakestraw, like I said, everyone is, Ennis is going to be fine. He's going to be fine. There's nothing wrong with Ennis. Ennis is going to be great. He's going to be phenomenal. He's just a dude, you know? He's going to be phenomenal. He's just play, man. I told you, Brian Branch, his teammate, who's in the same DB room as Ennis Rakestraw, said when he's on the field, physically he's good, but he's got to stay on the field. His teammate said this about him in front of the media. It was his teammate. That's my teammate. That's my quarterback. Okay? It wasn't somebody else. It wasn't a beat reporter. It wasn't me, even though I'm saying this now. His teammate said it. So if Ennis Rakestraw is going to be out there, I need you to look like you belong, okay? Because as they say, it's getting late early, folks. Okay? We're dealing with injury after injury after injury with Ennis Rakestraw. If Ennis Rakestraw doesn't play tomorrow night, it's due to injury. You couldn't get on the field last season because you struggled with a hamstring injury through camp. Then when you finally were able to get on the field in the regular season, you got hurt again. It's getting late early. This is your second season, and you started off camp injured. Not that you came to camp injured. You got injured. I think it was the first day of camp. Chest contusion. I just need to see something. I need to see you on the field, bruh. That's all. That's it. Okay? Tactical Sports says Rakestraw is back. I would like to see him play. Me too. I'd like to see him play. And I'd like to see him look like he belongs out there. Rock is a great name. I believe it's short for something. Rakestraw, I think you run him out. You run him out there. If he can play, just like Tactical said, he's back. I'd like to see him play. I don't think he's earned a day off. I really don't. I don't think Dan Campbell thinks he's earned a day off. All right. Now, that's my 5 things. I want to say something to you about my 5 things. They don't matter. This is the preseason, and this is the Hall of Fame game. Unless these players that we touched on look like absolute dog water, and they look like they do not belong in the NFL at all. Unless that is the case, Friday, please don't have overreactions about what happened in the Hall of Fame game. I don't care what the score is. I don't care if we win. I don't care if we lose. It doesn't matter. At the end of the preseason, the wins, the losses, and the ties column all go back to 0. And we get ready for the regular season. I know my chat is not a bunch of irrational people. Okay? So no matter what happens, I know we're going to be good. But I'm pretty sure there's going to be a lot of people in Lions Nation either flipping out or crowning them. Right? They're going to either be flipping out or crowning them. They're going to be overreacting to things that they see. Right? If you see Ennis Rakestraw get 3 interceptions off of a quarterback who will be working at Kroger tomorrow, not tomorrow, maybe Saturday. Maybe he'll start on Saturday. Okay? There's a reason he's a camp arm, and he's just there to fill space. He's not even in the backup quarterback conversation. He's literally going back to Kroger after camp. If you see Ennis Rakestraw get 3 interceptions off of him, great for having 3 interceptions in his Rakestraw, and I'd be so happy for him because I think it would boost his confidence, right? But at the end of the day, that man works at Kroger. You see what I'm saying? So just don't be that guy. That's all. That's all I'm saying. Don't be that guy. Yeah, just evaluation time. No homers here. Chat keeps it 100. Facts. Hopefully nobody gets hurt. That too. And we just talked about Ennis Rakestraw. Hopefully nobody gets hurt. Tactical says, I'm not worried about anything that happens in this game. Facts. That's why y'all are the best chat. Y'all don't be over here freaking out about stuff. you know what I'm saying? We keeps it realistic around here. You know, I keeps it real. You don't even keep it realistic. Okay. Mailbag. What you gonna do? What you gonna do when they reading you? Mailbag. Snick, mailbag. Get your mailbag questions in. Get them in. Bask in it. Did y'all do the homework? Did y'all go watch the Thugnificent episode of Boondocks when he moved into the neighborhood so y'all understand where bask in it comes from and why I can't finish the whole thing? Get your mailbag questions in. What happened to Kay? Did she say I was ignoring her again? No, she didn't. Okay. Good. Tactical says, come on, you know I've seen every episode of the Boondocks. I know you know what it is. I know you know what it is. But some people don't know why I can't complete that. You know, mailbag. If you are willing to wear a wig to a Lions practice, how likely is it that you'll get a Dan Campbell tattoo on your lower back? Ooh. He went there with it. How likely is it that you will get a Dan Campbell tattoo on your lower back if you are willing to wear a wig to a Lions practice? I probably say 9 out of 10. Because they do anything for clout. They do anything for clout. They do anything for clout. They'll do, you know what I mean? You know what it is. All right. Mailbag. What is the latest slander on Broderick Martin? Yeah, so Broderick Martin, I think Mark Garcia said he couldn't wait to see Broderick Martin in this game. He's got to play, right? He's got to play in this game, right? He's got to play. He's got to show something. I'm all the way out on Broderick Martin. I'm not in on him at all. Broderick Martin. So when initially when this offseason started and Tactical went on this campaign against Broderick Martin, I was like, I try to compliment him. But this camp came, and as I said, you hear good things about all types of people, but not Broderick Martin. So, people that have taken a step this year, and people that were developmental pieces. I mean, you didn't hear anything good about Colby Sorsdal, but you don't expect to. But Broderick Martin is a lightning rod, and you expect to see some improvement. Hear something good about him? Nothing. Nothing at all. All right. Any more mailbag questions? Take a couple more, and it will break out. TaylorMade Media says mailbag. Now that folks believe that this is Jack Campbell's D, how much money is Alex Anzalone going to get? That is a very good question. What I will say is if he does get a contract extension, it's going to have to be slightly more than what Derek Barnes got. So Derek Barnes got like $8 million per. So Alex Anzalone should probably get like $8.1 million per. Just because, look, that's the one thing that I will say. Get your money, right? Get your money. But the thing where it's like, I got to have more money than you, even if it's just $1. I think Jamar Chase said that about Justin Jefferson. I guess it's a competitive thing. And if you are in the space where you already make $8 million or $6 or $5 million a year or whatever the case may be, then I guess you can quibble over $1. But it's just the respect factor, that you pay me more than him. $1? 100 cents? 4 quarters? $1? 100 pennies? 10 dimes? 20 nickels? $1? I don't care about $1. I'm about $1. What the? Okay. Anyway. Did you see the unofficial depth chart? Broderick Martin wasn't on it. I did see the unofficial depth chart. Yeah, they had David Montgomery starting over Jahmyr Gibbs, and Broderick Martin shouldn't be on it. Again, if you cannot do anything over years, you are the same as Jeffrey Namumbo Ohonokuda. That's pretty much it. That's pretty much it. You're in the same boat. Mailbag. What trade value does Kyle Allen really have? I don't think Kyle Allen has any trade value. He'll just get cut. I I don't see how you trade Kyle Allen. The only way that you trade Kyle Allen is if someone's backup quarterback goes out for the season. And then they'll give you a 7-rounder for him, and that'll be it. But yeah, he just got signed at camp. I wouldn't expect him to be traded any kind of way. Just released. As I was looking for multiple years, given his age, I mean, 2 years. 2 years, $8 million per. That's an extra $16 million for you to put in your retirement fund. Somebody gave me $16 million to put in my retirement fund. I'd be like, thank you kindly. All right, this is the last one, and I'm gonna stab out. Mailbag. When will you have my man Doc back on? I don't know. Doc is super busy. I've been trying to reach out to him. Haven't been able to touch base with him, but I will continue to try to get him back on for sure. But yes, I will let him know. Taylor Made said you need to come on the show. Once I get off, I'm gonna text him. All right, I appreciate y'all once again, man. The Motor City Cats are indeed back at it. We came to give you stats and not static. Whatever you do, make sure you keep your Lions news pragmatic. And again, yes, we will be here at the start of the Hall of Fame game. I don't know how much I'm going to stream. If it coincides with my time, then yes, I'll probably stream the whole thing. If not, I might stab out a little bit early. It is what it is. But at that point, who will be watching anyway? Because it will be the fifth stringers, people who we don't even know. But it is what it is. We are out. Peace.